Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Pipe Bomb Sessions. This week, the WWE is hosting none other than one of my favorite PLEs in the Royal Rumble. Now, before we get too much into that, just in case you didn't know somehow, the Royal Rumble is taking place in Saudi Arabia, which means it's happening a lot earlier than that 8 p.m. time. It's happening around, I believe, 2 p.m. Eastern. Don't forget, don't miss it. It is during the daytime. Be there, or honestly, be square, ladies and gentlemen. Shoot. I'll see you guys there. Now, anyways, let's move on to how WWE has set up this year's Rumble, where honestly, it looks like they really did the heavy lifting in the last couple of weeks. Primarily in the last week, I would say, even. Like, we didn't really hear much about the Rumble or what's going on, or hey, it's here, this and that, until what, like maybe 2 weeks ago? If that. The last time I heard from you guys, of course, we had a few Rumble matches already set up. People are hyping up, and everybody's around him, and that's AJ Styles. Of course, he is in a retirement match. If Gunther beats him at the Rumble, that's it. Styles is done, no longer wrestling. He's retiring. I have a good feeling that the Rumble, being the 10-year anniversary of Styles' debut in WWE, this indeed could be AJ Styles' final match in WWE. I just something is telling me that maybe Styles really is done. Maybe he's calling it quits, not at Mania, but at the Rumble. Like maybe he just doesn't want to go the full length that Cena did with the retirement tour. I get it. Of course, up to him. I mean, hey, we've seen some pretty insanely good matches lately from Styles, and he could still run it. He could still do it, and he's not bad whatsoever type of deal. You know what I'm saying? Now, of course, on Raw we saw Styles and Punk go 1-on-1 for the World Heavyweight Title in the main event. I'm gonna pause that for just a quick second, just because of what's been happening. Regardless of the World Heavyweight Title matchup, what the hell is happening with Finn Balor? We saw Balor thank and give the flowers to Punk backstage earlier in the night, saying, "Yeah, thanks, yada yada, felt good." Punk told him, "How do you want your legacy to be, remembered?" type of deal. And he told him basically to dump the Judgment Day and Dom Mysterio and everyone because they're just holding him back, and they're, in Punk's words, garbage. So that's very interesting. I thought that was going to lead further deeper into the face turn of Balor, but then we see Balor talk to Adam Pearce later, and Adam Pearce apparently, first off, this doesn't even make sense. Adam Pearce tells Balor he can't get into the Rumble because the Rumble is full already. We have 14 confirmed spots, guys. You're telling me we got 16 surprises? Get out of here. We know we don't have that many surprises. So, like, how are you not putting Balor in? The only thing I can think of is possibly, we see, like, a Dom Mysterio return, and maybe Balor takes him out. Maybe he attacks him to try to get the Rumble spot. I can see something like that happening, honestly. But then, that World Heavyweight title matchup last night ended with Balor attacking Punk. It's like a week ago you turned him face, and then a week later you still had him being a face, and then all of a sudden you got him being heel again. I feel like WWE, once again, as usual, does not know what they're doing with Finn Balor, man. They're just wasting this man's talent. They gotta get him out of the Judgment Day, in my opinion. I think Balor was going to be going right to the top as a face, as a new face, fresh again. People love the guy when he's a good guy, And he is a very good face character. I don't know, and this Judgment Day revolving door for Balor at least has to end. Of course, Balor attacking Punk may have to do with some of the mind games that Liv Morgan was playing with him backstage, saying like, "Hey, Punk doesn't really care about you. Like, we your family. Why don't you go take care of business?" And Balor then, desperate Balor. This could be a desperate Balor trying to just get to the Rumble somehow, get another title shot somehow. He knows he's being left off the Rumble match itself, but he's like, hey, how else can I get myself into there? I don't know. Maybe that was his thought process. Regardless of the fact, what is honestly happening with Finn Balor, the heel turn, the face turn? What are we getting there? Now, we also did have that big four-way tag team number one contenders matchup for the Usos tag titles. Of course, Jey Uso was there watching and, looking from afar, but his brother wasn't there, Jimmy. Jimmy's taking care of a family situation. Of course, he was almost going to be a father, going to have his kids. So, hey, congrats to Jimmy and Naomi one more time, and hope we see you back soon, both you guys, honestly speaking. So until then, Jay, of course, declared for the Rumble, expected. We had the number one contenders matchup. Now the result of that matchup is what surprised me. I did not think these guys were gonna be the winners, but they were. That's Tozawa and Otis. A team did not think they were gonna get a title shot, but you know what? Maybe they're mixing it up now. I'm cool with it. I mean, we really definitely didn't see that coming. Let me tell you that. Now, I want to actually flip and also just confirm the number one contest for the women's titles. That's Julia and Kiana James, another tag team. Honestly, didn't really see it coming that they were gonna get the number one contender spot, and they do right now. Of course, they face Rio, who ended up retaining their titles against the Judgment Day on Saturday night's main event. Speaking of Saturday night's main event, I was really hoping and looking forward to that Jacob Fatu and Cody Rhodes fight. Of course, they just brawled throughout the arena, yada yada, and who ends up attacking both of them? Drew McIntyre, the champ. Champ comes out, throws Fatu through a table, and then he power bombs freaking Cody Rhodes through another set of tables. So I think this is all leading and hosting up. It has to be for a triple threat match at Mania. I can only assume that's the play here for Drew's title. I'm okay with that. Let's please not run it back with a one-on-one matchup again. I don't really think that's like the big thing to do, in my opinion. We could definitely get more here. You know what I mean? And of course, Drew McIntyre is going to be facing Sami Zayn for his WWE title. I don't expect Sami Zayn to win this. Of course, Drew has the 11-0 record against him. That's going to play another layer and part to the story. Again, don't expect Sami to leave Saudi with the title. I would be really shocked, but I fully expect, I've been saying this, Drew to walk into Mania as the champ at least. Give him somewhat of a good run. I think he deserves it. Let Drew hold on to that damn title for a little bit. I think that's simple as that. Now, moving on to the Rumble. We have about, I believe on both sides, on the women's side, we have about 12, 14 possibly people. I know for the men's side, we got about 14 spots confirmed from the graphic that we see on Raw. I'm sure it'll be updated just a little bit on SmackDown, but we got 14 we know. Out of the 14, we now know there's 13 because it looks like Rey Mysterio got hurt on Raw. Unfortunately, hopefully Rey's all right, but man, that's another injury in a very short amount of time for Rey Mysterio, a guy who's been pretty healthy, I was going to say, since his return for quite some time. So these injuries are piling up. It might be just age, it might be unfortunately, it might be time for Rey Mysterio also to think about to hang up the boots. So Rey Mysterio is one of the older guys there, and he can still go. But if you keep getting hurt the way he is, I don't know how much more you can go for, right? Of course, I touched base already on the Drew McIntyre and Sami Zayn fight, the AJ Styles and Gunther matchup that's happening. The Women's Rumble match is, of course, happening. I expect to see some surprises, some legends to come out. I expect AJ Lee to be in there, maybe kickstart her, or I guess continue her rivalry with Becky Lynch by eliminating her, get that one-on-one matchup at Mania set up. The Rumble also sets up the Mania matches, as we know, right? So it's going to be very interesting. I want to see if anyone returns. Are we going to see like a Saraya situation? Like, that would be dope, seeing her come back. I think, in my personal opinion, I think Saudi is hosting the Rumble, which means that whoever they request, they're going to get. Like, as simple as that. Like, they'll be like, hey, we want you, and we want to see you, and we want to see you. I think that's going to play a big part when it comes to the Rumble on both ends, especially the men's side. But before I get to there, I think the Women's Rumble is not going to be bad at all. I get it. People are like, yeah, they're going to be wearing, like, you know, the freaking tight clothing. It's going to be really hot and all that stuff. But, like, I don't know. I think, yes, it's going to be a little weird and uncomfortable for the women. I still see it happening where the women's matchup still goes for at least an hour. I just don't see it being less than an hour. I get it. Like, yeah, maybe they try to make it a little bit quicker. Possibly it doesn't go over the hour mark. Maybe it's around that, like, 55 to 1 hour mark. I can see that happening for sure. I am going to put my pick in. I believe the pick and the woman to win this year's Rumble is indeed Liv Morgan. especially because Adam Pearce announced that Raquel versus Stephanie Vaquer matchup for next week's Raw in a street fight. Let's just say Liv wins the Rumble, Raquel then wins the title. I mean, what better story do you want than that right there? Literally. It's right in the palm of their hands. I think they're gonna capitalize on it. That could be the only thing that's happening. Looking forward to it. I do think Liv is the favorite and should be the favorite to win that Rumble. I personally, I don't really see anybody else winning it is the problem. The only other person who possibly could win it and set up her Mania matchup is with the SmackDown champ, and that's Bianca. But something is telling me Bianca Belair is not going to be returning at the Rumble. If she is, that's awesome, man. We haven't seen her in a hot minute, and of course she's a star, right? She's a stud. Like, we know. So, let's see if Bianca does return, but I'm putting my money and I'm putting my ticket in Liv Morgan. Now, let me flip things on the men's side. This is where things get interesting. Men's Rumble, I thought, was locked about months ago. I thought I knew who the hell's going to win. It's obvious. Yada, yada. Now, I don't have a freaking clue. Like, I think it's bigger than just maybe like a Braun winning it. If Sammy was in it, thought he was going to win it. But Sammy's obviously not going to be in it. I don't expect him to do double duty like Gunther is. Gunther would have been in the Rumble, but he's just going to be in the Rumble. He's going to dominate a little bit. Now I'm just going to name some names I believe are going to be returning. The guy that I've been saying for months at this point, we are going to see Y2J, Chris Jericho, return at the Rumble. I'm telling you, this is it. This is the spot of Jericho. Now, he may not be the only AEW guy. I'm telling you guys right now, don't be surprised if we get a guy like Powerhouse Hobbs. Yes, for all you AEW guys, Powerhouse Hobbs has officially already signed with WWE, I believe, and he's going to be coming into WWE, and maybe his name's going to be something like, I saw some things that they trademarked, Royce Keys. Royce Keys is Powerhouse Hobbs. I wouldn't be surprised if he wants to debut at the Rumble itself. We have seen returns and debuts happen at the Rumble, and hype men. I mean, look at AJ Styles himself all those years ago, right? If you know who they are, they gonna make it. So those are two guys I expect coming from the AEW side. A man that we know at least is gonna be in the Rumble is the OTC Roman Reigns himself, of course. Now that leads to Paul Heyman and his group, The Vision. Of course, the OTC has issues with them. Do I see LA Knight returning? Of course, I do see LA Knight returning as well. But man, this is interesting because The Vision, Logan Paul made a whole thing and speech backstage saying we should all team up as The Vision and help Braun Breaker win. So now you got three other guys helping Braun Breaker. I expect all of them to be in the ring at the same time at one point and just dominating the match for a certain amount of time until someone big comes out to really even the playing field. Now that big guy, I think, is going to be Roman Reigns at first. Now Paul Heyman always has an ace up his sleeve. His ace is going to be the same ace that he had at War Games, and that is the Beast Incarnate. I expect Brock Lesnar to show up at the Rumble as well. Now, I think Brock Lesnar is actually going to have a matchup at Mania, and it's going to be against the ruler, NXT young stud himself, Oba Femi. Oba Femi is also confirmed for the Rumble itself. I believe Oba is going to be the one eliminating Brock Lesnar to set up their matchup for Mania. It's going to be very, very interesting. I believe a dark horse to win that Rumble is Jacob Fatu, the Samoan Werewolf. He just returned. I think he has a lot of hype on him. Of course, people are saying Cody Rhodes being in the Rumble means that he has a shot of tying Stone Cold with the third Rumble win. Man, that would be insane, I think. But the thing is, Triple H didn't want to run Cody versus Roman back because it would just be just storyline and just the repetition fatigue. I don't see him giving Cody the Rumble win. I could see him giving Roman the Rumble win because Roman's first win was a terrible shit show for them. But this time around, the OTC is loved all around, especially in Saudi. So what better time to get him the biggest pop of pops with him pointing up to the sky and pointing up to that damn sign, and we get in that freaking matchup at Mania for Roman. He's going to become a champ again, in my opinion. Now the question is, who else do I see returning? Ah man, there's really a plethora of people. I want to see more guys added as well. Like let's get a Carmelo Hayes in the Rumble, hopefully. Let's get a Ilya into the Rumble, hopefully. Like these guys should also be involved in the Rumble. I know they haven't been announced. I really do hope they are announced. I mean, I mentioned earlier Dirty Dom could return in the Rumble, but he could get taken out by Balor. This is the time. I think Balor is going to be conflicted going the rest of the week. He doesn't know what he truthfully is looking for and wants. It's going to be very interesting. I think this year's Rumble is actually shaping up to be pretty interesting. They haven't hyped it up as much as past years, but we also don't really have a favorite like that, in my opinion. Like, yes, there are some favorites that I would say, yeah, these guys are definitely it. But in my opinion, there's a few dark horses in there too that could really take the Rumble win. It could be like kind of like the NFL playoffs where the door is wide open for Mania season. I mean, look at Drew McIntyre. We thought he was going to be in the Rumble. Instead, he's the champ going to the Rumble already as champ. So I think that's huge. This is going to be big. Rumble's going to be pretty interesting. As I said, it's my favorite PLE of the year always, and I can't wait to watch it. Don't you guys forget to tune in. Don't you guys forget to let me know your thoughts. Who do you guys think is going to be the winner of this year's Rumble? Let me know what you guys think. Don't forget to tune in, subscribe, and like, and I'll see you guys post Rumble, baby.